Good morning, students. I'm Mr. Allen. I'm going to be your woods instructor for this semester. And for sixth graders, well, I shouldn't say semester, for this quarter. For sixth graders, next quarter also. So we'll be together after Christmas again. What we're going to be discussing today is safety. Safety is very important in whatever you do, whether you're working in a wood shop, auto shop, mowing the grass, whatever. And we'll get into some of that a little bit later. So what is safety? Safety is knowing how to use your power tools properly. The best way to do this is to read the owner's manual. An owner's manual. All power tools come with owner's manuals. Even some hand tools come with owner's manuals to tell you how to properly use it. Some of them need a little setup that tells you how to do it. Follow the steps and to use the tool. Keep your fingers and clothing away from all moving parts. You don't want to have loose clothing on when you're using a saw, a drill, whether it's a hand saw or a power saw, because it can get caught. Next thing you know, you're going to either rip the clothing or cut your arm or cut your hand or even worse. So there are some safety items we need to have, and every shop should have these. And one of the most important safety item of all of them that we're going to talk about are these right here. Safety glasses or safety goggles. You need to have those. And we'll get into it in a little bit why. Some of the other things are hearing protection. Foam earplugs or the headphones. And you can even use noise canceling headphones if you have those. They work because they'll keep the decibel levels down to where it's safe for you. All right. The other things you need to have is breathing. Keeping dust particles out of your face, out of your mouth and your lungs. This is what you need. Or this. I use this in the shop all the time. I do use this at times. These breathing barriers that we use now, because of COVID, will not work to keep the dust particles out of your lungs. They're not designed to filter out the small, minute particles of dust that are produced by sanding. Sand, dust, sawdust gets into your lungs, it can irritate it. If you have asthma, it can make it worse. You can really have some breathing problems. So we want to make sure we use the right type of dust protection, and this is the perfect one for you guys to use. They're inexpensive. You can buy a whole box of these, $10 or $12 or whatever they are. I picked a box of them up of 10 at Lowe's the other day because I needed to have some new ones. They finally had them in stock again. But that's what you need. They work great, and they're, like I said, they're inexpensive. So those are the things we need to have. Why should you use safety goggles and safety glasses? Like I said, we're going to get to that. And right now is when we'll get to it. Safety glasses, safety goggles, when you have them on, if you're cutting a piece of wood on a table saw or using a drill or a sander, a router, a planer, whatever, sometimes you'll have particles come flying up, chips of wood. And, for some odd reason, if you don't have them on, where do they end up? They end up in your eyes. These here with the side shields on it, and the top shield, and comes around the bottom, it gives it less room to get to your eyeballs, so you don't have something in your eyes. If we ever had something in our eye, we know how irritating it can be. So those help. They protect your eyes. If something breaks off, like I said, those flying chips, they can get in your eyes. They might just irritate them a little bit. They could cause blurred vision. They can cause loss of vision. There's even the chance that you could lose an eye, depending on how big a particle or chip flies into your eye. So you really want to protect your eyes. It's a valuable thing. You don't want to lose your eyesight, because if you lose your eyesight, well, you're really not going to get to have much fun doing woodworking because you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. You need to have your eyes to do woodworking. Too many moving parts on saws to be trying to do it by Braille. It just won't work. You know, you'll lose other body parts very fast. So, eye protection, the most important safety item in your shop. So if you have one pair of safety glasses, or if you're like me, I have like 10 or 12 pair of safety glasses. I have safety glasses all over. Need to have them. So whenever I'm working in the shop, I have a pair of safety glasses right at hand. When should you use hearing protection? Well, hearing protection can be a tricky thing. You wonder, well, why would I need it? What I'm doing, my sander is not that loud, or is it? I did a check the other day online, and I checked OSHA standards, Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration standards for hearing. Their recommendation for children is that anything over 75 decibels, and that's how they measure sound and noise, is by decibels. Anything over 75 decibels is hazardous to your hearing. So if you're listening to something, a radio, and then it's, pushing 75, 80 decibels, and you listen to it for, say, 10 minutes a day, every day, for the next 3 or 4 years, you could end up with some hearing loss. At least you might end up with what's called ringing in your ears, or tinnitus. There are a lot of people that have it. I have ringing in my ears from when I was younger because I didn't use hearing protection. Didn't even know about it. Especially at your age, I had no idea what hearing protection was. We didn't talk about it back in those days. One of the teachers at the school has a ringing in her ears because when she was in high school and college, she used to go to rock concerts. Sit right up next to the speakers. All that noise. She's got ringing in her ears. She's going to have hearing problems like that for the rest of her life. Once you have it, it doesn't go away. There's no cure for it. As much as people try to tell you, yeah, we got a cure for it, you see it online, it's not going to work. Because all your audiologists, your hearing doctors are going to tell you there's no cure for it. Okay? Now, if you listen to sounds at 110 decibels, and they say for a sustained amount of time, and they're talking a minute or more every day, you stand a really good chance of losing your hearing altogether. Now, yes, we can get along without hearing because we can learn sign language, you can learn how to read lips, but you don't get to enjoy a lot of things that you get to have when you have hearing, listening to music, talking with people without having to learn sign language. So hearing protection is important too. So remember, anytime you think that the sound might be high, or you question whether you should be wearing eye protection or ear protection, if you're questioning it, wear it. Now, the same thing can happen with breathing. If you're questioning if there's enough dust, is it going to bother me? Well, wear the breathing protection. The face shield like that, like this one right here, will keep the particles from getting into your lungs and you have problems. If you start feeling hard time breathing and tightness, that's probably because you inhaled a bunch of sawdust. And let me tell you, it can be rough. So wearing that stuff is a good thing. Whenever in doubt, use it. It doesn't hurt to have it. And like I said, if you're questioning it, hey, put it on. Better safe than sorry. I'd rather be wearing it and not need it than not wearing it and I should have had it on because now all of a sudden I got something in my eye. Or I can't breathe because I got too much sawdust into my lungs. If you have asthma, all that sawdust is not going to help you none. Matter of fact, it can make your asthma worse and you can have a reaction. So you want to make sure you're protected. Now, what can happen if you don't use your safety equipment? Well, a lot of things can. If you neglect to use the proper safety equipment, you could end up with some serious injuries. consisting of a loss of sight, loss of hearing, loss of fingers. Depending on what type of equipment you're using, not using the proper safety equipment, you could lose your life. People that jack up cars and crawl underneath them sitting on a jack and don't use jack stands, jacks have been known to fail and cars have fell down on people and crushed them. Using a saw. Having loose clothing on when you're running a saw gets caught in the blade and pulls their arm into the blade or through the piece of equipment. So injuries can happen. I don't want to scare you, but you need to know that a lot of the stuff we're working with can be very dangerous. But if you follow the safety steps, listen to what I say, you're going to have a great time and you're going to be safe. Now, I'm not saying accidents won't happen. They still can. But if you have the right safety equipment on, the severity of that accident will be greatly diminished. So safety, like I said, very important. And the most important safety item of all of them is the safety glasses. Got to protect those eyes. Most vital thing in the world is our eyeballs. The last thing you want to do is lose them. Now, safety is used in a lot of different things. You think about it. Safety for woodworking, safety when working on cars, safety when mowing the grass. How about this one? Safety when baking a cake. You ever thought about it? Is baking a cake dangerous? Of course it is. If you don't pay attention, you got little fingers and you got a mixer going on, those fingers getting those beaters and they can hurt. They can break little fingers. Get burnt on the stove. So safety is there. You need to be aware of what is there, what you can get hurt by. So you use the right precautions and pay attention to the details and stay safe. Now, how about babysitting? You think, well, why does babysitting need safety? If you've never watched little kids, you don't realize how fast a little one crawling can go from point A to point B, and point B could be the top of the staircase. Or they pick something up and put it in their mouth, and now all of a sudden they're choking. So safety plays a vital role in everything we do in our everyday life. By following simple safety steps and guidelines, we can be safe. We do things staying safe every day that we don't even think about because we were trained like that by our parents from little on what to do to be safe and how to be safe. They told us don't put your fingers in light sockets. Don't touch the hot stove. So we don't touch it. Why? Because we were trained it. So we just automatically do that. Sometimes we still might hit a hot burner or burn our hand when we're putting something in and out of the oven. It happens. But you're aware of what you need to do to be safe. And like I said, accidents still can happen. But then they are truly accidents if you're taking every precaution to be safe and you're thinking about it. But they still happen. Now, one of the things you're going to be getting is a sheet like this that shows some safety equipment on it. And you'll be getting one of those sent home to you. It shows a lot of different safety equipment, some of them that I showed you and some that I don't even have because, one, they're too expensive to have. It's not worth it. What I have to spend for it to have it in the shop, I don't need it because I won't use it that much. And you guys would never use it. So what I showed you, the safety glasses, the foam ear protectors, and this dust mask are the 3 items that you need to have for working with wood, especially working at home. Now, I'm not going to be there to watch you do it, make sure you do it right, and that you have your safety equipment on, but I'm going to hope that you do. That way you're safe. Like I said, there is going to be a 6-question test. It's an essay, roughly 1 or 2 sentences. So, the very first question is, what is safety? I don't want to see somebody write down safety. That's not the answer I'm looking for. Explain to me what safety is to you. We covered all 6 of the questions. One of the questions, I emphasized it multiple times, so you should be able to pass this test without a problem. I'm really hoping you can, and I'm pretty sure you will, so I don't see any problem with that. So until next week, have a great week and have fun.